Are you an AI skeptic too? I am ready to admit that I was absolutely an AI skeptic. I didn't realize I was, but I was using the free plans of everything and I didn't know how to use it. And so the output that I would get was pretty shitty. And so that kind of fed into my belief, confirmation bias, or whatever you want to call it, was like, yeah, this stuff sucks. I don't know what other people are using this for. And today I'm going to tell you how that's changed. So before I dive into that, if we haven't met before, my name is Caitlin. I run Launch the Damn Thing. I'm a graphic designer turned web designer turned educator. So it's been a journey. I've been doing this thing since 2006 as a professional designer, and now I've been a business owner for 10 years, and I've got a lot of things to share. Let's talk about AI because that has been a hot topic and it will continue to be a hot topic, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon, and much to potentially some of your dismay. So, first things first, why was I a skeptic? The first AI that I used might have been the built in stuff, and Notions actually wasn't that bad. I was using that to help me rewrite something that I'd written that I needed to simplify or elongate, and it did a decent job, but it never, ever sounded like something I actually wrote. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, how does this make someone more efficient? Well, then I started using ChatGPT. I subscribed to the Foundry. I started using that GPT, the custom GPT that Paige Hulse built for her contract amendments. And I started to understand better how it worked, but I was still on the fence about using it because, again, I was not finding that it ever wrote anything that sounded like me. In some circumstances, that was good, but like the Foundry, it's not supposed to sound like Caitlin Teagle. It's supposed to sound like an attorney. But in ChatGPT or whatever, I really wanted it to be able to write a blog post that sounded like me based on an idea that I gave it, or create a draft of an outline or something that sounded like me, or to revise an email that sounded like me. And I was never very happy with the output. And then I was in a co-working session with my friend Diane. We were planning out some marketing promotional type stuff, and she was using Claude to not only generate ideas, but also to write the damn emails for those ideas. And after she would get an output of that, of the whole email, and I mean, these were long emails, and then she would put it into her actual email application and then go through and edit that. I was floored because it actually sounded like her and it was coming up with stuff that was actually useful. And I thought, oh, I get it now. She's paying for that. She's paying for that plan. The reason that all AI has sucked for me up until this point is because the free plan is actually drastically different than the paid version. Surprise to no one, or maybe everyone but me. So I, that day, created a free account in Claude specifically, and I think I ended up buying a year of it within like a week, maybe, because they were having a special. So I saved a tiny bit of money on the monthly price. And I started using it for all the things. What I found was that I prefer the output from Claude, from Anthropic, which is the company that created Claude, versus OpenAI, which is the company that created ChatGPT. For me, what Claude can give me is a lot closer to what I would actually write myself. And so it requires a little less editing as opposed to something with ChatGPT, where even on the free plan, it can only generate up to like 800-ish words for anything. And we all know what I tend to do is pretty long-winded, and that never worked for me. But beyond that, I never wanted to pay for more than one. So Claude was where I sunk my teeth into. The first AI tool that I purchased that was relatively expensive was RightBlogger. And I have to say, I highly recommend that if you are a content creator or even a business owner and you don't know how to use AI, that's the tool for you because it will help you generate highly specific things without needing to prompt the AI for it. So if you don't know how to ask AI to do a thing, then that is the tool. And they've got like 80 or 100 mini like micro tools within their platform that will help you get YouTube video descriptions plus timestamps, SEO titles, SEO descriptions, draft outlines for blog posts, listicles, listed articles, all kinds of stuff, social media captions, email marketing, subject lines for emails, I mean, the list goes on and on and on, quite literally. So if you want to start using AI and you're not sure how to prompt it to create or write the thing for you, then RightBlogger is a fantastic tool to start with, and it will become your best friend very quickly. I used it like multiple times a week for weeks and weeks and months on end until I got comfortable, and now I'm starting to switch back over to something like Claude because I know what to do now. I can control it and the output better with something like that. So RightBlogger is where I started. They are a little on the pricey side at about $29 a month. So I actually, in this case, would not recommend that you pay for a year of it. Start with a month at a time until you realize that you like it, you know how you're going to use it, and then you pay for a year if you want to save a little bit of money. I actually recommend that with all processes. When you're first trying something and you're not sure you want to commit to a full year, just do a month. I know it's more expensive to pay monthly than it is annually on most things, but in that case, it's going to save you if you decide that you don't like it down the road. The second thing that I tried that was AI focused was Motion, which is a task management system. I think it's usemotion.com. So I did try for task management for a while, and the reason is because I am a solopreneur. I don't have a team at this point. I work by myself, and at that point in my business, I was really looking for basically a tool to be my assistant and to tell me what to do every day, and Motion does that. It connects to your Apple Calendar, your Google Calendar, and Outlook Calendar, I think. And it puts all of that stuff in one place for you, and then it also manages tasks, and it allows you to put in your task name, your task details, the priority level, the due date, and how you want to break it up. For example, if I tell Motion to split a task into multiple chunks, for like in the club, for example, I do weekly wins every Friday, and I share things that I've worked on that I remember or am pretty happy that I got done. And that opens the door for other people to share their shit too, because we got to tell somebody what we're working on, because most of us work by ourselves. we need that little office cooler chat, whatever. So every week I have daily reminders in Motion because I broke that one-hour task into 15-minute increments. And so every day I would have a 15-minute thing to like go in there and say, this is what I did for the day. Motion would actually break that task up and show 15-minute chunks on each day of the week. And I really liked that for a while. It worked really well. Motion, however, is on the expensive side. I think it's only like $280-ish maybe for a year if you pay for annual, but monthly it's like $40 a month, which is, so you save a ton when you switch to annual. So of course I switched to annual, and then I decided I no longer liked it, and I moved to Asana because I'm crazy pants. All aside, Motion is highly AI backed. Like AI runs that tool because it has to figure out where to put your shit in your calendar. All of the tasks, it kind of puts in your calendar for you, and it helps you time block. And it does that around your events based on when you tell it you want to work, like when your hours of availability are, if you've blocked out a whole day, if you block out a day after it's assigned tasks to that day, it moves all the tasks for you. It's probably great for teams, but for me, I actually decided that I want more control than that. When things started showing up in my calendar in order where it felt like out of sync with the energy level that was required to do that task, then I realized actually I do need to do this stuff myself. I just need to put on my big girl pants and do the damn thing. So anyway, that was the second AI thing that I paid for and used for a while. Still highly recommend if that's something that you want. It just wasn't a fit for me long term. And Luna agrees. This is all ridiculous. Don't you, Luna? I'm boring her to tears. Anyway, the third thing that I tried and paid for, I don't know why I'm doing this in an order. It doesn't matter what order they came in. I did pay for ClickUp's AI add-on at one point. I also paid separately for Notion's AI add-on at some point. So those could be effective maybe for you. Now, what I'm using for AI. I still have RightBlogger for the rest of the year, but I'm finding that I use it less because I have more control, like I said, if I go through something like Claude. Here are the 5-ish things that I'm using AI for in my business. The first one is content transformation and the process of that. So when I do a podcast or a video and turn that into a blog post, I am using AI to do that. And I'm using a couple different tools. The first one is Descript, because I can upload this video file and it will transcribe the video file for me. It will also help me find all the ums, ahs, likes, so's. Those are my big ones. And help me remove those from the transcript if I want. And it will also put in chapter markers for me and in the actual transcript. And so they are actually correct in the video. Then when I have the transcript roughly done and the videos roughly edited, I can publish to YouTube from Descript if I want to, or I can export the video file and upload it manually. Then after I have the transcript, I can put that transcript into Claude and I can use Claude to generate a blog post based on my transcript, which, for full disclosure, starts as an outline. What I'm looking at right now is an outline to keep me on track for this video. I record the video with all the things that I say in between, which gives me a very long, usually multi-thousand word transcript. And Claude can take a literal 6,000 to 9,000 word transcript and turn it into a 2,000 or 3,000 word blog post, filtering out all the stuff that I say that's only useful in the video, but not so useful in a blog post, which I do a lot. So it can turn it into a blog post that I can then go in and edit and tweak. And it also helps me come up with title ideas, SEO titles, SEO descriptions, tags for YouTube, the description for YouTube. I can't think of anything else. So that's one process. I'm using Descript to transcribe the video for me and to get rid of extra ums, ahs, whatever, filler words. I'm also using Descript's AI to put in chapter markers for distinct changes of topic in the video for me, and then I may add my own later. And then I'm also using Claude to look at that full transcript and turn it into a blog post, and then I go in and edit that, and that helps me publish. The reason I'm doing all of that is because it actually does make the process shorter for me, more efficient. If I did all of that manually, it would take me actual days to get all of that done. This simplifies. I can get all of that done in one day if I want to. So much fewer hours, much fewer hours. As I mentioned, another part of the process is YouTube optimization. And so I can actually use these tools to describe the video for the YouTube description. I can use it to generate tags. I can use it to brainstorm some titles. And recently I started using it for some strategy related to YouTube, where I can ask Claude, now that it can see the internet, and say, look on YouTube for creators that are talking about a specific topic and give me a list of 10 or 20 titles for those videos so that I can start to see a pattern of things that make those videos get higher traffic. And it literally gave me a list, and then I knew what words to put in my title that could help me get more views on my video. So that is an interesting thing that I hadn't tried before, but it probably will work really well. I've done it once already. I plan to do it again, and that's something I'm sharing with you guys. Another way that I'm using AI is for strategic business planning. Because again, we work in a silo, we work by ourselves, we have no one in our office to ask. Luna, as you can see, is very helpful for feedback, for strategy planning sessions. So what I end up doing is now I'm asking Claude, like, you can see my website, you know little about me now, look at my about page, read these blog posts. I can copy whole blog pages and put that content into Claude and say, this is my story, because I've done blog posts about this. This is all the info for my about page. This is my services. To help me figure out how to XYZ. If you were getting too few inquiries, you could tell AI to help you look at your website and figure out what to tweak. You could even export your analytics from Google Analytics or Fathom Analytics and upload it to Claude and say, this is what I'm looking at. This is what we're working with for traffic and visitors and what they're clicking on and stuff. Based on that information and what I gave you on my services page, help me fix my services page to get higher conversions. And it will help you do that. It's kind of incredible, the things that you can ask Claude to do, or ChatGPT, or whatever you're using. So some specific ideas that I have used Claude for website messaging and user flow collaboration. So basically going in and saying like, I'm doing more education now. I need to revamp the structure of my website a little bit to help the user flow be more strategically along each path, services or teaching. And so I am currently in the process of using Claude to help me plan that new strategy before I implement anything. I have also asked it to help me make financial decisions based on what I think is happening. For example, in the survey, I can upload the survey results to Claude and say, based on this anonymous information, help me decide whether I should change the price to this particular product. And it has actually given me some very insightful and fascinating information. Another way that I'm using AI in my business is for operational efficiency, and that is basically email updates, template improvement, affiliate program compliance checking. I used AI from the Foundry to write the affiliate agreement for my affiliate program. I have saved a lot of time trying to do that myself because I am not an attorney and it knows that. I have also used it to write social media captions when we were promoting the survey because, as we all know, hopefully you know here, that I am not a social media person. I don't use social media for business promotion or marketing. I'm just like on it because I have to be on it and I rarely check it. But when I do post, it's usually fun things that I think people will find interesting. So when I did actually need to promote something and use it for marketing, I had Claude help me write those captions and the strategy for that on LinkedIn and Instagram specifically based on those individual platforms. Another way that I'm using AI in my business is time tracking and insights. So this is a huge wake-up call for me. I started using Rise.io. I'll put the link below if you want to help me track my time to figure out what I am spending time on and what I am wasting time on in my business. Because here's the problem with manual time tracking for me specifically. I will start tracking and then I get an email that divides my attention, or Luna starts whining because she needs to go out and the back door is on the other side of the house. So I have to get up from my desk and walk around the back of the house to let her out into the backyard where the fence is. And then when she barks, I have to get up and go do the thing again in reverse to go get her, bring her back in, give her a potty treat, whatever. That interrupts my work time. And maybe I forgot that I hit start on the time tracking. And by now I've switched to 3 different other apps doing 3 different other tasks. And now it's not even a thing. I don't know what I'm tracking. I'm just tracking the time I'm sitting at my desk. But that doesn't actually help me evaluate anything. So the manual time tracking has never been super helpful for me for those reasons. And Rise is an AI time tracker. It tracks time based on what tools you're using and how long you're focused on that tool. So you open a window to do task management in Asana, and then you open your email and it's like, hey, are you getting distracted? And it's like, yes, actually I am. Or no, actually I'm not. I have to reply to this email because it's directly related to a task that I gave myself. So after I've done all of the things, Rise gives me an automatic chart of how I've spent my week, and it's mind-boggling if you look at what it tells you. Most of it's right. For the first week or so that you use Rise, you'll have to go in there and check the categories to make sure that this is an actual marketing task, or this is a research task, or this is an email task or communication task or whatever. And after you kind of help it learn what you're doing and what tools you're using and what categories those fit into, then it will just report for you and you really don't have to do anything but make sure it's running in the background while you're working. Man. Talk about things you don't want to know. I did not want to know. I did not want to know. But now I know, and now I can make different decisions. So with that knowledge, I am changing the way that I do things, and I am trying to get better at context switching and getting distracted and having too many apps open all the time and all of those types of things. So Rise is helping me. I don't expect that I'll need Rise long term. I'm doing it for right now because I needed it to help me focus, and hopefully I will learn my lesson and not need it anymore, and I can just use it periodically when I'm having a particularly chaotic moment in my business. So that's a wrap on how I'm using AI. I know that's not super specific. It's not a tutorial, but those are some ideas. If you're a skeptic like me money and you weren't sure how to use it in your business, those are some of the tools and tricks that you can try using to see if it helps you at all, to see if it helps your business go faster, do more, be more efficient, whatever your goal is. One thing that I would say is that it is most useful when you talk to it and give it a plan. And for that strategy, I'm going to give you over to the most recent Squarely Speaking podcast interview with Diane and I talking about AI specifically, because she shares the strategy for what makes a good prompt. And then we walk through and do some demos and stuff for you. So watch that video next. That's all I have for you in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.